All right, welcome to your Macros Explained or your Macros 101 course, really. I wanted to go ahead and include this into this group at some point in this prep week that we're going to have. I'll give you guys a lot of things that we can do, and then there will also be a little write-up included. But I wanted to share some of the information I have on macros and basically just kind of your getting started to macros guide. So let me get this pulled up and we will get started. Okay, the first thing I want you to know is that macros, it has blown up. It's just this like big buzzword on the internet. Everyone's doing it. That's kind of how I got started with it. Which I'll share my story in a second, but my big launch into macros was when I decided I really wanted to change my physique. I wanted my body to change. I wanted it to look the way I wanted it to look for all the work I was putting in. And so I decided to jump into a bikini competition knowing absolutely nothing. And it was very messy the first couple of years that I was just learning and implementing and doing. But I think anything you do is going to be messy when you get started. So just let that be. I guess encouraging if your first couple of weeks are really hard because it is for everybody. Macronutrition is protein, carbs, and fats. We'll get to that in a second. I wanted to share my story first because I feel like you need to understand the why so that you guys can see. And I feel like a lot of you are here because of this. I share my story online and it's like, yes, I'm having the same problems. So I'd been in the fitness industry for over 10 years. I was teaching group fitness, which I'm still doing. And I was doing virtual fitness coaching, not nutrition coaching necessarily. But I was doing some virtual like fitness sales and commissions based work. I became interested in bodybuilding, so I trained and competed in my first competition in 2022. My son was 6 months old when I decided to start, and that was kind of the catalyst that made me do it. I was like, if I don't have a goal in mind, I'm not going to get out of my postpartum funk. Not that 6 months is a long time to even be in postpartum, but my brain needs something to do. It needs something to work toward at all times. I don't know what that means about me. You can make your own interpretations, but I just love a goal. And so I did the first one. My body looked great. It looked better than it ever had, but it was still not a bikini body necessarily. And I wasn't really tracking macros truly at that point. I was looking at food groups and I was looking at proteins and fats and carbs, but I wasn't tracking the grams and truly getting down to the nitty-gritty quite yet. I was mostly just looking at food groups. Then I hired my first coach the next year. Actually, that's not even true. I coached myself with macros the next year. Again, did okay, but I needed more eyes on me than just my own. And so that's kind of like why I'm a big fan of hiring a coach, even if you are a coach, because you always need more eyes on your body than just your own eyes. And so I did finally hire a coach in my third year of competing, and that was when everything truly shifted and truly changed. My discipline got better because I trusted it more. I trusted my coach, and I knew that she was knowledgeable. And so that was when I really put the pedal to the metal, learning for myself and then also really implementing. And so this was my physique before on the over here in this black bikini. So that was my physique before. Nothing bad. Like it's not a bad physique. It was just I was working really hard and doing a lot of fitness and even still watching what I ate. And it just wasn't the physique that I wanted for all that hard work. So I was like, okay, if I'm gonna do hard work, let's do the right hard work. And so I did macros and hired a coach, like I said, like you guys have already done if you're in this group. And that is my physique, even in the off season for bikini, because I know what I'm doing. I know how to feed what muscles I want to grow and pop and what groups to work. So, anyways, my mission is to empower you guys to do the same thing. And my mission's always kind of evolving because I just want so much for you guys. So here's where you might be. This might be why you're in this group. You have no idea what to eat, so you just don't even try. You're already eating so little, so where can you even go from here? That's a big one. You're already like hungry and it's still not the results you're wanting. Number three, you've only counted calories and you realize that's just no way to live because you just don't feel very good. Number four, you've tried a trendy diet like Whole30 or Paleo or Keto and you stuck with it, but you didn't lose the weight because you still have to be in a calorie deficit, which we have to do through macros if we really want the physique we want. Number five, you've tried macros before, but you didn't have the accountability, or maybe you just tried like a random macro number, and so it still wasn't really the physique you wanted. Six, you've had great success in losing weight, but you didn't love your body shape no matter how small you got. That was me. And then number seven, you constantly yo-yo and you just need something that you know is going to always work. So macros can fix all of that. Here are some reasons for some fat loss plateaus. I just want to give you guys like again a generalization of like this may one of these may be the reason. And again, macros will fix it. So one is a calorie miscalculation. You were eating more than what you thought you were eating because you weren't tracking. Tracking macros will fix that. Lack of muscle mass. If you have a low metabolism because you don't have very much muscle, you're gonna not be able to eat as much. That's just the basics of it. To eat more, you got to put more muscle on. So I can't guarantee that we'll get everybody up to like 2,500 calories, but if you're lifting heavy, we can get you up pretty high. Number three, poor sleep, high stress. Honestly, if we can't fix those, macros are still going to help immensely, but we still got to fix those. We have to address those. Four is inconsistent workouts. I need your workouts to be consistent during this, and they don't have to be the same workouts every single time. We can change that part up. But we do need like a consistent amount of work each week and a consistent amount of load, which I'll get to another time. Hormonal imbalances. Some of you may have some of worked with some of that. Low protein. Protein is the building blocks of everything, your skin, your hair, your nails, your muscles, all of it. And so if you aren't getting adequate protein, you're going to see a decline in all of that. Even increasing protein, I've had a lot of women, including myself, my skin has improved since I've started eating on macros or tracking macros because protein is now adequate for my body. Excessive cardio can lead to muscle loss. So some of us, I'll have you tracking down your cardio a little bit as we increase your macros, and you'll see your stress levels and cortisol leveling out there too. Lack of progressive overload, meaning that you're not progressing in your workouts. You're using the same 5 pound dumbbells and you're not adding any stress to your muscle. You want to stress your muscles. You're not adding any progress to your muscles, so they're not growing. Number nine is overestimating your calorie burn because fitness trackers are very inaccurate. So that's why we don't really want to go just by calories burned. Because even in strength training, it's not going to show an adequate number of calories burned because you continue to burn those calories even after your heart rate goes back down. And then number 10, poor recovery. We cannot be working out every single day. So there is a formula. This is all math and science. So if we get the math and science figured out, it's going to work. And that's what I love about macros. All right, let's get into actual macros and why they matter. So macronutrients are the big nutrients that your body needs in large amounts to function properly. There's also micronutrients. That's your vitamins and minerals and your omegas and all of those things. And those are also important. We will hit on those later on in this week. But we really want to talk about macronutrients today. Carbohydrates, they get a really bad rap. The more carbohydrates you can eat that you can afford in your macros, which I will calculate that for you, but the more carbs that you can eat, the better your gym sessions will be, or your fitness sessions, whatever that is. And carbohydrates are also really important for energy just throughout the day. Now, we do have to be careful with how we eat those. We can't just be eating Sour Patch Kids like I want to be eating all day long for my carbs. We need some fibers in there. We do need to get carbohydrates from our vegetables and our fruit. Um, but those are very essential. It's a very essential macronutrient, and you'll actually find that'll probably be your highest macro. You'll probably have more carbs than anything else while we're doing this. So I just want to go ahead and dispel the myth that carbs are bad. We need them a lot. Proteins, I've already said that. You need that for hair, skin, and nails. You need that for muscle growth. You need that to keep you full and keep you satiated. And if we can keep our protein where we need it, if you can get that high enough, a lot of times it takes care of the rest. Like some women, when they're like, I'm on vacation, what do I do? I'm like, just eat protein. Like, just make sure you're still getting protein sources. And a lot of times they'll come back with no change in the scale. All right. And then fats. Fats are also tricky because they were demonized in the 90s with all the Atkins diet stuff. Fats were so bad. And then now we're in a place where people are actually overdoing it on fats. They're, healthy fats are healthy. They are healthy, but you can still have too much of them. And fats are actually our most nutrient dense food, meaning they're the highest calorie macronutrient we can have. So your fats are going to be your lowest number that we're going to be tracking throughout this. No matter who you are, like your fats are always going to be the lowest number. So knowing these and tracking these can help you make balanced meal choices that keep you fuller longer, that keep you away from insulin spikes, all the things. So let's go over quickly some protein sources. So they are essential for the human body. They act as building blocks for tissues and muscles and organs. They aid in muscle repair and growth and healing. They produce enzymes and hormones that support the immune system by forming antibodies. I mean, protein is so important. And you can see why we're a very unhealthy society because even though protein is pushed in some circles, most of us still aren't getting enough. Even when we think we're eating healthy, it's still not really enough if we want to see change and we want to see true health. So my favorite protein sources are listed here. There's a lot more, and we'll get to that. But my favorite are chicken and beef, fish, eggs and egg whites, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, whey-based protein powders, and just a little caveat there for the whey-based protein powders. I know some people say they upset their stomach. A lot of times it's because you're finding protein powders that are like mixed with other things like fiber sources, and that is what is actually upsetting your stomach. So if you can find a very simple whey-based protein like Clean Simple Eats, or even some just, from like Walmart or Kroger, you can find some organic brands there where it's just the whey protein with a flavor added. That's going to be your best bet. I'm very sensitive to whey protein and protein powders and drinks, but if you can get just the whey protein without the added fiber in there, then you're going to be good, usually. Edamame is really great, and then tofu if you are vegan or if you just like tofu, that's also fine. So these are my main sources, and I will also explain how their protein often is laced with fats, which is good and bad. So, like chicken is going to be your lower fat protein, meaning if you eat chicken, you can still pair like some avocado with it or some olive oil of some kind or butter or, some sort of fat. Beef, even if you get lean ground beef, it has a lot of natural fat in it. So with beef, I never pair that with a fat because even a quarter pound of lean ground beef has 8 grams of fat in it. And if I only get 60 grams of fat a day, you can see how fast that can get used up. So with beef, I never pair fat with it. Eggs, also high fat. They're like 6 grams of protein and 5 grams of fat. And so eggs are great and they're super healthy. They have a lot of micronutrients also that we need in our diet. I still limit those because I'm still limiting my fat intake every single day. So you still have to be really strategic with macros. And I know this sounds overwhelming, but don't let it get overwhelming. It becomes so second nature at some point. Greek yogurt, there's non-fat Greek yogurt, so it can just be plain protein and carbs. So that's a really good source. Cottage cheese, that's everywhere. You will find no shortage of cottage cheese recipes, and they're actually all really good if you can blend it and add it to your sauces and creams and that kind of thing. We eat a lot of cottage cheese in this house. And my kids like it too because they don't even know it's cottage cheese. All right, carbohydrates. Those are essential for energy. They are your body's primary fuel source. They break down into glucose, which again gets a bad rap because that is a form of sugar, but that supports the brain and muscles and it helps preserve muscle mass by allowing protein to focus on tissue repair. If you pull your carbs too much, the protein has to compensate, and then that protein has to give you the energy you need, which means it can't repair the muscles. So that's why we have this little scientific calculation of how much carbs you need and how many proteins you need. Um, Additionally, they contribute to digestive health with fiber. So if you aren't eating enough carbs, and you'll hear like, this is like so TMI, it's not even my TMI, it's just TMI in general. Um, a lot of people, if they start increasing their protein, they get really gassy. And it's because they're lowering their carbs and increasing protein. And then there's nothing to help get that waste through their body. You have to have fiber. So I'll get to fiber on another video. But carbohydrates is where your fiber comes from. So what we will track in this group, will track fats, carbs, proteins, and fiber, but you don't have fiber without carbs. So you need those for really good gut health. And then I get those from fruits. I eat at least a banana a day, an apple a day. That's like 10 grams of fiber right there. I eat lots of blueberries because of the antioxidants and the micronutrients, but I also eat them for the fiber and the carbs. I eat a lot of rice when I just need a quick carb, especially around my lifting sessions. Car or rice is very good before or after a lift because they are fast absorbing glucose, and so that's going to go straight to your muscles. Right, or sorry, pasta. You can actually get fiber pasta now, which I highly recommend. It tastes to me now, it tastes the same as normal pasta. And you get a lot of fiber in there. It's really good for your gut. Corn, potatoes, quinoa, breads. There's so many forms. There's so many forms. Of course, bread gets demonized. If you find a good organic source of bread, you can often find that it has a lot of protein in it, as well as carbs and sometimes fiber, depending on what you pick. So, potatoes as well. Potatoes with the skin on is an incredible fiber source. Um, so, anyways, there's some good options there. Again, I'll be giving you more. I'm just trying to hit the high points here. Healthy fats, these are critical. You need these, but we also still need to eat them in moderation, just like everything. Healthy fats play a crucial role in the human body by supporting cell growth. They protect your organs and they keep your body warm, which right now, of course, the sun's coming out on me now, but it's 19 degrees where I'm at. So I'm definitely eating my healthy fats today. But they're also full of vitamins, omega-3s and omega-6s, and they help your brain, they improve your heart health, they reduce inflammation. There's so many benefits to healthy fats, and you can get that from nuts, nut butters, actual plain butter, animal fats, olive oil, avocado is one of my favorite sources, salad dressings, and seeds. All right, so very quickly, how did we pull all of that together and build your physique? So, why is this different than calories? Calories do still matter, but macros choose better calories based on your goals. So, again, and I've used this explanation so many times, but if I'm eating 1,800 calories a day, if I get that from Sour Patch Kids, which would be a fun day, don't get me wrong. If I get that from Sour Patch Kids or if I get that from whole food sources, my body's going to do very different things with it. I can still lose fat. I still can. I can be in a calorie deficit on nothing but Sour Patch Kids all day, but my body's going to deteriorate in 2 weeks flat. There's actually a professor at a university. I can find the study if you want me to find it, where he ate nothing but McDonald's for 30 days and lost weight. The goal was to show that it's all about the calorie deficit, but his health was bad. His health was bad by the end of it, but he did still lose body fat. So you can lose body fat on calories, but that doesn't mean you're getting healthier. Macros force you to eat the healthiest way possible for your body. But they also still give you a lot of like freedom and flexibility. Um, so that's the main thing with macros. It's also a balance of a relationship between the calories burned and the calories consumed. Hey, can I send you to the living room and then I'll be out in just a second? And then I'm sorry. As far as a calorie deficit goes, if you were going to maintain your weight, that means the calories consumed equals the calories burned. So with macros, what we can do, we can actually put you in a maintenance um, equation, and you can still actually burn fat and gain muscle through that. Or we can put you in a slight deficit. You can still put on muscle, but you'll burn more fat. And that will equal body recomposition, which is what most of you are probably here for. You are here to lose some fat and gain some muscle so that you see that muscle tone when you're done. Um, Basic math, consuming more calories than burn leads to weight gain. Consuming fewer calories than you burn results in weight loss. Calories still matter. That's still always the truth, but the content of your calories is what matters the most for body recomposition. And then this is not that important because I'm going to do these calculations for you. But some of you are coming here for muscle gain. Some of you are coming here for maintenance. Some of you are coming here for fat loss. And then some of you might even be coming here because you want to run a marathon and you want to do that in the best way possible. And then we would calculate you for endurance training. So these are kind of the ways that it works. Like I said, most of you, I'll be putting you in a little bit of a fat loss. So that's right down here in this corner. So your protein is going to be about 30 to 35% of your macros. Your carbs are going to be 30 to 40%, and your fats will be about 25 to 35% of your diet. So that's what it's basically going to look like. Um, there it is. I would love for you to ask me any questions that you have. Let me see if I can stop the share here. Ask any questions that you have. I am an open book. I'm obsessed with this. This is what I geek out about in life is nutrition. And the more I learn, the more I geek out and the more I love to share. So if you have any questions about just macros in general, I would love to answer that. In the as the week comes on or as the week goes on, I will give you instructions on how to check in, how to actually track those in the app, and then how you can just make those changes week by week and what to expect throughout this 8-week challenge. So there's all of that. I hope it helps, and thank you so much for joining.